live stream, excuse me, there will be a TA joining, so he will handle the class check-in for you.
Okay.
All righty, so you're all set. Thanks you, Mr. Ross.
Thanks, Lina. That was easy.
Very. Bye-bye.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Emily, how are you today?
Fine, thank you. I have 2 classes to take from you today.
Okay, well, I
And
hope
then
you
9:30 too.
very good. I hope you get something out of each of them.
Yes.
Good to see you, Josephina and Karen and Becky and Arsug. I know you. Is it Rochelle? I see. I knew it was Rochelle. I'm going to change your name. Is that okay for this class?
That's fine.
And are you? I can't remember though. Are you a Rochelle with an A or an O?
An A.
Okay. And 2 L's?
Correct.
There you are. Is that right?
That's correct.
I'm sensitive about getting names spelled right. I have a name. It's always hard to spell. Hi, Josie. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm very good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Hi, June.
Are you guys having a good weather?
We are. It surprised me overnight. This is going to sound terrible, but it went down to 38 degrees. It's clear and sunny. We're going to have a nice warm day. We'd had some overcast nights. It was warm. And so I felt really mistreated that the morning was so cold. Isn't that awful? It's just March 29th. I think I can live through it.
Yeah.
So, Russ, where are you at?
I'm in Harrisonburg, Virginia, which is in the Shenandoah Valley, so the western part of the state. Just west of the Blue Ridge Mountains and east of the Allegheny Mountains. The Shenandoah Valley is between the two mountain
Oh, I'm familiar
ranges.
with that area. I'm very
Pardon me?
familiar. I'm familiar with that area. Right now I'm in the outskirts of Chicago, Illinois, but I'm originally from the Allegheny Mountains, Pittsburgh.
Well, tell me where.
Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm from up there too. I've moved down to Virginia in the last 10 years, but I lived 31 years in the Alleghenies, 4 different places. So I love the Alleghenies. I'm setting up to do a class on biking the Great Allegheny Passage, which is from Pittsburgh. Well, it goes to Cumberland, Maryland, then it goes on to Washington, D.C. through the Allegheny Mountains. It is one of the most beautiful trail rides you can ever do, or you can walk it, whatever you want to do. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Right. But you said
Rachel, you said you live in Chicago?
Yes.
Where about?
I'm on the outskirts. I'm in Joliet. But when I tell people Joliet,
you're not too far from us. I'm in Oak Brook.
Oh, I know where you're at.
I know Joliet because Josie knows that I went to high school in the western suburbs.
Right.
So whenever we came from the southwest part of the state, you'd always kind of end up going through Joliet.
Yeah.
Right.
Welcome, everybody. Good to see you all this morning. We're going to give everybody a minute or two to get in, but I have got a poll going. If you could answer the poll, I would really appreciate it. That way I have an idea of what kind of things, what kind of level your experience is and what you might want to learn today, so I can make sure, if possible, to cover it all.
I got a quick question, Russ.
Yes.
What's the difference between Yahoo Mail and Gmail? I get that totally confused.
You know, it's pretty simple. Yahoo used to be like the biggest online provider. You know, they had all this stuff you could do. You could do mail, you could do internet searches, and Google overtook them. And then Google launched its own internet
Email.
email service, Gmail. I don't know when. I got on it in 2008, and it's just two different services. That's basically it. They're both free. I have a hunch, you know, I should know the statistic for the class, but I'm pretty sure that Gmail is, at least in the US, the biggest
Popular.
email service. I never used Yahoo, but some of my kids did. But now everybody's migrated to Gmail.
So do you have to have two different passwords for Yahoo and Gmail, or can you use the same? Or,
No, two different.
No, you have to have two different. You'd have to have two
okay,
different.
okay, I'll put that in my.
Do you
notes.
have a Gmail account, Michelle?
Yes,
Okay.
I think, yeah, I have a Gmail and a Yahoo, and it is throwing me for circles.
Okay.
So two different passwords. Okay, sorry.
I have this
sure.
funny feeling like my microphone is not connected, but you all can hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
should I
I'll-
mute myself now?
Well, yeah, when you're done talking, sure.
Okay,
We have, looks like we got, besides me, 11 people on. Probably one or two more will come, but we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to check the poll real quick. If you haven't had a chance to do the poll, please do it. We got someone who is not yet a user, so hopefully you'll learn something today. Looks like the things you'd like to learn, the number one thing is how to create a signature. Yes, we'll do that. You want to know how to organize your folders. We'll work on that. How to locate my spam folder, how to locate your trash folder. Looks like several want to learn how to attach a photo or document. Good. And well, it looks like only one person needs to know how to compose a message, so we won't spend a lot of time on that. Good. I also do another class, and that class is Wednesday at 10:30 called Gmail Useful Things to Know. So I do some more stuff. So if I don't cover it today, we'll cover it in that class. We'll give it one more second to see if anybody else is joining us. And if you haven't done the poll, please do the poll. And looks like most of you are regular users of Gmail. Okay. Now let me ask a couple other questions. Anybody here today, this is your first Get Set Up class? Raise your hand, either raise it or put up the, hey, great, Josephine, it's super. Or put up the little virtual hand raise in Zoom. There's a little reaction button. You hit that and you can raise your hand. Well, fabulous, Josephine. I'm glad we have you in our class, your Get Set Up class. And I hope you keep taking more Get Set Up classes. Some of you I know regularly from other classes. Rochelle and Emily and Josie have all been in my classes. And I do a whole bunch of stuff. I do Gmail, I do Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. I'm going to be doing a class on Word. I do a class on Excel. So a lot of applications for your computer. I also do classes on travel. And so a lot of those are just starting up in the next few weeks. So if you're thinking about, hey, the pandemic's over, I'm thinking about traveling again, I got a whole bunch of classes for you. And I'm doing one this week on a walk I did in Italy. So if you want to come to that at 3:00 Thursday, what is walking the way of St. Francis in Italy from between Florence and Rome. Put that on your calendar. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you now. And I'm going to show you how to open a Google application, get the right email account. So I'm going to go into my Google Slides. So I went into my one of my Gmail accounts, and now I clicked on this little waffle over here, and then I'm going to slide down. I'm going to scroll down to Slides, and then I'm going to open the slide that says Getting started with Gmail. There it is. And if I present that, you should all see a big screen that says getting started with Gmail. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. We're all on the same
Yes.
virtual page. Super. I'm Russ Eanes, your guide. I am, as I mentioned, from Harrisonburg, Virginia, which is in the lovely Shenandoah Valley in the western part of the state. And I look out the west window of my house and I can see the Allegheny Mountains, Rochelle. Those lovely Alleghenies. You know, the mountains out west are bigger, but the Alleghenies are older. We always just say the Rocky Mountains are Allegheny Mountain wannabes. So I am a writer, a walker, and a cyclist. I formerly was a book publisher, and I love to help authors shape their ideas into a book. I love the energy I get and the wisdom I collect by working with older adults. So you all are in the right place. And by the way, if there's any, I always say in all these tech classes I do, I don't know everything. These things might have a 500 or 100 or 1,000 capabilities, and I don't know them all. I only know the ones I use, and then I learn some so I can teach them. So I do know more than I use. But there might be something I don't know and you can teach me. So if someone's often someone stumps me with a question, I'll say, I don't know that. And someone in the class will answer it. Get Set Up helps you learn useful things from people like you so you can do wonderful things. We learn from each other. Ideally, we can see you and your cameras are on. You can request a recording after class of this class. You email help@getsetup.io, and you should have that email address in the notes, which will come after today's class. So again, after today's class, you'll get an email with a few notes from the class, and you'll see that email there if you want to watch it again. If anyone is joining by live stream, and we have pushed live stream today, the best way to participate is to join us and register for a class. And lastly, Get Setup's not paid to promote any specific product. So even though we're talking about Gmail, which is a Google product today, we're not being paid anything by Google. Here's our agenda. We're going to do a basic navigation of Gmail. We're going to talk about how to compose and send messages. And we'll just do that briefly because it looks like most of you don't need that. You know that. We're going to talk about what labels are and how they compare to folders. And then we'll go over how to mark spam and unsubscribe. But also let me check back on that poll and see if there's some stuff that you all want to learn. And we'll do that. Believe it or not, how to mark things spam and unsubscribe is about the number one thing that people often want to know. And I forgot to put how to mark spam and unsubscribe in the poll. So we'll cover that briefly. Just briefly, you all know this. I think one person doesn't have a Gmail account yet from the poll. Let me just check that poll again. Let's go over that. And I am not finding I'm going to click out of there real quick and check here we go. I'm going to check the poll again real quick. And yep, we only have one person who's not yet using. Okay, so that's good to just check over the poll. So you all know you have to have a Google account. By the way, a Google account and Gmail are not exactly the same thing. If you have a Google account, you will have Gmail with it. There's all sorts of things you can do. It's one of the 34 apps that come with Google. We're going to be going over the browser version today, a laptop or desktop browser version. There is a version that goes on your smartphone, your tablet. We're not covering those. Those are similar, but they interface slightly differently. Here's an example of something that if you have your Gmail on your phone, and depending on which phone you have and which app you're using to read your email from, it's really easy to delete messages. Some of them you can just slide them, delete, 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 delete. So it's kind of, it's pretty fast, nice little thing to do. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to actually just use Gmail, and I'm going to show you how I have my Gmail account set up, and we'll just use my Gmail account to look at stuff. So this is one of my 5 or 6 Gmail accounts, Google, or I should say Google Mail accounts. if you want to see, this is interesting. So this is the one that says Russ.Eanes. You know, this is one that's my personal. This is where all the stuff comes to me from, just about anything that doesn't have anything to do with my work. That all comes here. But if I have several accounts because I have several for my work. And you see, I had this this is a gray stone background. It's like river rock. One of my other accounts, this is one I have for Get Set Up. I've set it up with a different photo background. I'll show you how to do that. It's like sunset with orange, orange sunset. And I do that so that I can just glance and know which account I'm at. I don't have to study and say, which one is this? So each one of them is a different color, which is nice. If you have multiple accounts, and if you're someone who works and has maybe 2 or even 3 Gmail accounts, and they can, by the way, be Google hosted accounts. Like I have a personal work account that doesn't end with Gmail. It's Russ at russeanes.com, and Google hosts it. So that's also, but I access it through a Google account. Anyway, I'm going to just show you the real basic interface here. So I have mine set up with this nice background, and up here you have this little menu that has that you can adjust your folders on by clicking it. But you got Gmail up here. Over here on the right, this is the settings wheel. We're going to talk about that some today. And then this is that same waffle I showed you that has all the Google apps you can choose. So if you're in your Gmail, you can get into these other apps very easily. And then this is a photo of me. And this is a way I can quickly open any of my Gmail accounts. So they're all listed down here. Now, on the left are all my folders, and I'll show you how to set up some folders if you don't have them. And I have all the folders I want to use. They're all up and down here. And I have this is my inbox here in the middle, and I have my inbox set up by Google. By the way, they set this up for me one day, and you can change it. But this is typically what they kind of have, which is there's 3 different tabs. There's a primary, and those are like the Gmails that come to you informing you, someone sent you a personal email, or a business has sent you an email about an order. And Gmail figures those things out for you, especially it notices how you use your email account, and it will set that. It will say, well, that's an important one. That's a primary account. And then there's one that's called social, and that's where I get things like various social media accounts that I have. So this one right here, books in my backpack. That's a blog, and Goodreads. I'm a part of Goodreads. And here's one. I guess it's the same guy that does this blog, books in my backpack. So that's there. Then I have promotions. So these are all the stuff that just gets constantly thrown at me by companies. And I've decided that it's okay for, them to send me emails. They're advertising something. It's kind of like your junk mail that you maybe get, your physical mail, and you can't control junk mail. You can control this. And so what I'm seeing is basically what I've decided to control. So all these accounts that send me something are okay with me. And I typically just delete the whole batch, but I'll scan down the list. Oh yeah, I want to see what they're advertising today. So I'll do that. And the way I have mine set up is totally sequentially. So over here on the right are the times and the dates. So 8:41, the most recent one that came in is 8:41. Then there's one from 7:29, and there's one from 12:04. And otherwise they're just, now from there on backward, they go by date. That's the way I have mine set up. My wife likes to set her email account up, her inbox. She doesn't have these 3. She doesn't have the settings for social or promotions or primary. And she has her set up so that unread ones are always at the top. So when she reads her message, it pops down to a section below. I don't like to do that because even though I read it, that doesn't mean I still might want to deal with it. And then I want to be able to find it quickly by looking at my inbox. So that's how I have mine set up, and I can show you how to adjust those. But let me just quickly cover composing and attaching a message, because that's what somebody wanted to know, and we'll make sure we cover that. That's the most basic thing people want to know. Gmail makes that really easy. In the top left, there's this huge button. I think everybody can see it says compose. You just click on that, and it pulls open a window over here in the bottom right-hand corner. which I wish I could, oops, it went away, come back, which I wish I could move around the screen, but it's kind of stuck there. And you've got the to, the subject, and then you've got the body of the email message here. On the right, I have it set up so that I can do a CC or copy someone, or BCC, which is blind copy someone. Right now, I'm just going to send this to one of my other accounts. So I'm going to type in here, Russ. Okay, so as soon as I said R, it gave me all the email addresses with R in it that it's ever used for me. And I scrolled in, and I want this one to go at russ@russeanes.com. So I put that address in. Now let's say this is going to be for Russ, but I want to copy someone else. So I go over here and I click on CC. So now it says on the left here, CC, it's copying somebody. And let's do this to one of my other accounts. Let's send this one a copy to Russ Get Set Up. So you see it says this is the main recipient to, and then this is the CC, the copy. And if I want to do a blind copy, then I do BCC. And we all understand that blind copy means that somebody's getting that email, but the other recipients, the ones that are the twos or the CCs, don't know who that is. So if you just want someone to see it and a lot of other people not to know that they saw it, that's what you can do. Another way you can do it is that some people, you can send like a group email to a whole bunch of folks, and maybe they are very sensitive and they don't want to know who else is getting this or who the other email addresses are. You can BCC everybody, in which case you could send it to 30 people and they'll only think that and you can say, hey, everybody. And, they'll know that there's a whole lot of people getting it, but it'll only be the only address they'll see is there. So that's kind of a way of, some people are very sensitive and private about their email accounts. And I can understand that. That's a way you can do it if they want to do that. I'm going to skip the BCC phase and put in a subject, and it's going to say good morning. And then I'll, okay, so I've got the subject. Now I go down below, how are things today? ? Now look at what I've got going here. I've got a nice big font because I find that default Gmail really hard to read, and I can show you how to change that. So I got a bit bigger font, but it's got my signature and all this other stuff is the default kind of big stuff to see. Real tiny font. So that is my one little complaint. They default to the tiny one. I have to set it to what I call the readable size.
Hey, Russ, this is Michael.
Yes.
There's a attendee. Her name is Emily. She's asking you to make the screen a little bigger. Can you do that for her?
I will do it like that. How's that, Emily? I've made it bigger. So I clicked up here.
I'm just curious. Can you make that screen move to the left or make it bigger? I
made it bigger. Does it look bigger now? It's filling most of the screen.
Yes. How do you make it move around or make it bigger?
I haven't figured that out. I click up here thinking I can drag it, and it never drags. It always defaults to the bottom right. So if you want it bigger, you can click this little stretch button right here. So that exits full screen. And if you hit the arrow going each way, it'll pop it up like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Nice to meet you. Michael's a TA here. So
thank you, Michael.
Now that Michael's here, if you all have questions, as Emily did, you can put them in the chat. That's helpful. And Michael will bring them to my attention. So basically I've typed the message. I've got the addressees up here. I've got the subject, and I've got the message, and I've got a signature. Russines, my name in it. Now let's say I want to attach, a picture of today, or a photo of anything. So I come down here to the bottom, and the bottom is where you can format the message. I think everybody should see that at the bottom of your screen. If something's in the way from Zoom, you can grab that and move it to another part of your screen. And I won't show you what all these things mean, but this little ribbon right here is how you can format the message. So you can make your font bold. This is where you can make the text bigger or smaller. Whatever's checked is what the default is. So I've defaulted to have mine say large, but you can modify it down here. You can make it huge if you want to. I'm older and I read with bifocals, so I prefer not to have that teeny tiny text. You can, number and bullet and all sorts of formatting, but it's an email. Most people don't want to do tons of formatting in an email. Maybe they'll do a bulleted list. Then down here at the bottom is the send button. So bing, hit that, that's done. Or you can go along here, and these are the things you can do where you can attach a file. So if you want to attach a photo, for example, there's two ways you can do it. One is you can just hit the paperclip icon and that will attach anything. You can attach a document, you can attach a photo. That's a universal attach anything. Or if you scroll over here to the right, there's a little icon that looks like mountains in a window, and that is the photo icon, kind of a universal photo icon. So I'm going to attach a photo, and I'm going to click on that one. And I have different options of where I can find that. And I can either get it from my my Google Photos account, or I can get it from my computer. I have, in this case, the insert image defaults to go to your Google Photos. So again, Google Photos is an app, like Gmail is an app, or Google Docs is an app, or your contacts is an app. They're all the apps built in that are free and they're in the cloud. So what I like about this is that if you put them in your Google Photos, you can quickly attach them. And I won't go over how I have Google Photos. There is a class you can take on how to use Google Photos. I would recommend that. Now, so I'm going to go down. I'm going to click the photo. So I've got one here that says Via Mexico. Okay. And I'm going to insert that. And that's a big blue button at the bottom left. But there's two ways I can insert this. Okay. One is I can insert it. It says here in the bottom right, inline, which means it'll just put it right into the body of the email, or I can send it as an attachment to it. Okay. Either way is fine. If you're doing lots of photos, probably want to make them attachments. It's really a preference thing. All it means is when it appears on the screen of the other person, it'll either appear as an attachment they need to open, or it'll just be in the body of the message. In this case, I'm going to make mine inline like that. And then I'm going to hit insert. And now it's uploading the photo to the message. Taking some time. There it is. So that's what the message is going to look like. Okay. How are things today? There's a photo. And then I have some different options. By the way, one option that doesn't appear here, but is nice to know, is that if I decide I'm just, the phone rings, the doorbell rings, I get tired and want to take a nap, whatever. If I leave this, if I close it, it becomes automatically a draft. Doesn't go away. If I want to get rid of it, I have to go back down here to the bottom right where it says discard draft. That will trash it. So it's a very handy thing. It's one of the advantages of all these Google apps, and I teach a Google Docs and a Google Sheets. That I say the same thing. Anything you do, any work you do in a Google app is automatically saved because it's in the cloud and you can access it from any device, anytime. Doesn't go away. Then I just click send down here, bottom left. Now let me just show you one little thing here. There's a little drop down menu. I can schedule the send. I want this to go out this afternoon, and which I'm not going to schedule it, but you can then click on the schedule send and choose when you want this to go out. Like maybe you want to send out a message after midnight for some reason, or tomorrow or whatever, but I don't want to schedule. I'm just going to send it. So bing, I click on it. It's gone. And if you go down to your sent mail right here, you will see it is, there it is, to Russ. Good morning. How are things? In this little red IMG with the red icon with the mountains shows me there was an attachment of an image, and there's its name and number. So if I want to reference that, gone. So that's great. Very simple way to compose and attach a message. Any questions on that so far?
Yes, you said that if you put it in line, it puts it right in the body. What was the other option? And that just shows as an attachment?
It will show as an attachment. Yep.
And what is that called again? Because I don't have it.
It'll just say as an attachment, and it looks like a paperclip.
Okay.
Which would be the same thing you would do for a document. Let's say you're sending somebody a Word document or a PDF or flyer or something like that, a PDF of a flyer. that you
And
want to
does
send
it
them.
send, and for a picture, does it send it in the same quality either way?
Yes, either way, because what it's doing, the quality of the photo has to do with the size of the photo. The original photo, how big that file is, will determine its quality. Yeah, either way. So I discourage people to use inline for this reason, and that is that often photos these days are very big files. You could send a 4 or 5 megabyte photo and not realize what you're sending, and that will simply make it appear and download onto their computer slower
Okay.
if it's inline.
Okay, is there a limit on how many, like how many pictures, as far as gigabytes? I know, because I use the mail program in, on a Mac. That's what I've used. I'm trying to switch over. And, it won't let you put in a certain, if it's a large file.
Yeah. So that has changed over the years. It used to be if you sent more than 2 megabytes, you were sending too much to anybody. They
Okay,
keep getting increasing capacity to the point that I don't know what it is now. But
okay,
I would say to somebody, if you're sending more than 10 megabytes, maybe send it in multiple emails just because they'll each open faster. But I don't actually know what the new limit is. I do know, I'll show you one thing here in the bottom in your, when you're looking at your Gmail account. And I hope you can see all this in the bottom
yeah.
left below my inbox. It tells me that I have used 6.94 gigabytes of 15 gigabytes. So my Google account comes with a capacity of 15 gigabytes, and that is everything with all my apps. So if I've got Google Sheets, Google Docs, PowerPoints, or slides, that's what Google calls them. If I've got photos, if I've got all the attachments that are in all my email messages that I've saved, plus all the email messages I've saved, all that adds up. So you can see I'm not even halfway there to my capacity. And
But
most
that
of
goes through pictures as well, correct?
yes, that has
And-
everything
and
that's
in
in your
June,
Google
they're-
account.
They're changing it in June, I understand, how much before you have to pay for it.
Yes, and that's not surprising. And I don't actually know what that is. I better look that one up because
Oh, yeah.
what is this? We got 2 months before that starts, so that will change. But there are many ways to save things in the cloud. You know, Apple has iCloud. I have a Mac device. I can use that. I also have a Dropbox account. There's lots of things you can use. So while so that's a very good question. I'm going to find out. Does anybody know? By the way, you don't have to wait for me to find out. Does anybody know in June what the
They're
Google-
going to limit, you can only upload up to 15 gigabytes. After that, they're going to start charging. And it includes all your Google accounts. So it includes your documents, and I guess your Gmail would be included, and photos, because I've been loading photos up like crazy. Because after that, they're going to limit it.
Okay, well that's what it is now. Right now,
15.
15 gigabytes is the limit right here. And I'm just not sure because I've never exceeded it if I would have to pay to use more. So you thinking, June, that up to now 15 gigabytes is the limit. There's nothing available above that.
Well, yes, if you want to pay.
Okay.
But yeah, that's supposed to be coming in June. And it
Okay.
includes all of the Google. It includes
Right.
your documents. It includes your photos.
And that does include that now. So down here, this 15 gigabytes that I've got used, it does include everything, not just what's in my Gmail account.
So anything you have up until June will be okay. But then after that, then you start getting another 15 gigabytes. And after you fill that, then you will have to pay.
Okay.
So they're going to grandfather it in.
Very good. Based on the poll I saw, the one thing you all want to know is how to set a signature. So let me show you that one. That's in the settings. And so if any of you have never played with your settings, spend an hour doing it. It's worth your while. And that's this wheel up here, this gear. Click on that, and it first pulls up what are called your quick settings, which are just a few things that most people want to look at. And this is generally viewing your screen or your inbox. And this is where you can do a quick change to your inbox. The default is the way I have mine set up, which means it just brings in every message sequentially. And you can decide that certain messages are important. And I won't go into how to filter that, but you can have important messages selected to go first. You can have unread first. That's what my wife does. She likes hers unread first. You can have certain types of emails starred. So let's say you get messages from 2 coworkers, and you always want to make sure you see those, and or relatives, and you can star their accounts, and they'll always appear at the top, all the starred ones. You can also set a priority. So there's all different ways you can set that up. I'm not going to show you all those, and you can change your background. So that's what theme is. So they give you kind of 8 right here that you can use. By default. You can, by the way, upload a photo of your own if you want to do that. If you want to see them all, you click on view all, and it shows you all the different kinds of backgrounds you can choose that are standard that they give you. And as I shared with you earlier, I've picked 5 different backgrounds of different color so that I can quickly differentiate when I'm looking on screen which account I'm in without having to stop and think, okay, now look at the data in this account to figure out which one it is. I'm going to just cancel that because I'm not going to use it. Now, if I'm in settings and I click on see all settings, so this is quick settings. All right. Now I click on see all settings. Now I got a lot of stuff. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different menus I can choose from. So there's a lot of stuff you can look at, and it's worth spending time looking at each of these. And one of the nifty little things about the settings function in Gmail is that if you set something by accident and then wish you hadn't done it and can't remember what it was you did, you can't change anything unless you do the save of the changes down here. So it works both ways. If you're trying to change things and forget to hit the save changes, all your changes won't affect. So just have to remember that. And it's not big jumping out you, in a different color and a different size, so you can't miss it. It's kind of subtle down here at the bottom. So these are all the various basic general settings, your language, your phone number, all the things you set up. Right down here, about 6th or 7th down, is this default text style. Okay. So right here is where I set my default text, and you can choose the font if you want. Mine's set to Verdana. Someday I could go in and change that. I'm a Helvetica guy, and I don't think that Helvetica is one of the ones I can choose. Oh, well. But then it shows you, if you scoot over to the right this is first the font, this is the size. So I have mine by default set to large, and it shows you what it's going to look like. And when I saw that, I said, yes, that's how I want to read it, because it's too hard, especially if you're sending a long email and you have to get back in there and change a word to get your cursor to go up there and find that word can be hard. I won't show you all the settings down here, but you can spend time looking at these, and you can actually look these up, and you can search the help menu to find out what these are. You can have Smart Compose. You can have, you notice that I have Smart Compose off. If you have it on, it'll see what you're starting to say, and it'll finish sentences for you. I'm a writer, so I think I don't want them to tell me what I have to write. I want to think about what I have to do. But some of my other Gmail accounts have that Smart Compose left on. There's again more settings. You can go down here. You can change your preview pane. This is where you can set up what the stars look like. You can set a photo for a picture for your account. So again, if you're looking up here, you can say, oh yeah, that's that account because it's got that picture on it. Down here is where you set your signature. So several of you asked how you set a signature, and you do it here. First of all, you have to create the signature, and they ask you to, you clicked on create new down here. I have one, it's called Russ. That isn't what the signature says in the signature. That's just the name of the signature. What is in Russ is over here to the right. Okay. And it's just my name, Russ Eanes. That's how I sign it, Russ Eanes. If you want to put your actual signature in there, you can do that. You can write your signature on a piece of paper and scan it and save it as a tiny little image. And you can put that in here if you want. That's one way you can do it. Again, I don't do that. If you want a link there to something, let's say you've got a website down here in the bottom right, you can put your link in it, but you have to start by creating one. So I've created one called Russ. If I want to edit it, its name, I go over here and I edit the signature name. I'm going to cancel that because I'm not going to change it. So that's Russ. If I want to get rid of it, the trash can's gone. If I want to create a new one, I click on Create New Signature. So we're going to say Russ Plus. Okay. And I create that. And now it is moved over here to the right. And now I can decide what I want the content of Rust Plus to be like. So Rust Plus is going to be my name, Russ Eanes, and underneath it's going to be my phone number. Carriage return. So 540-236-2782. That's my phone number. And so that would be now a slightly different one. Russ was just my name. Rust Plus has got my phone number. Now, it's asking me to default. Where do you want to use this signature? And I want to use it for new emails. And when I want to reply to an email, I also want it to be this. So right now it says no signature. No, I want to use Russ for a reply. And for a new one, I want to use Russ Plus. So I've now set which signature is going to be used on my email account. And so a Russ Plus, my name and phone number will be all new messages. And when I reply to somebody, it will have just Russ, which is just my name. Now, remember, this won't stay that way unless I click down here on Save Changes. All right. That's very important. If you don't click that Save Changes, it won't save anything that you've done. Another setting that people like to use, I'll show you this real quick. This tends to be in the advanced class, but is in a way as a vacation message. I won't show you this today. You have to come to Wednesday's class to learn how to do a vacation message, but this is where you would set it down here. I'm not going to save that change today. I'm going to just click cancel. And so that wasn't that what, but that's how you would set a signature. Let me show you one other powerful feature that is in your inbox that Google has that I like a lot. And that is this little checkbox up here. Okay. So on every message you have, when you scroll down through your list, you can click on it and it'll open the message. You can also, if you're in your primary, you can scroll down here on the message itself and you have a whole bunch of options. So I've got this one, Senior Perks. I have no idea what it is. I do not want it. I'm sure I don't want it. So I have a couple options from this screen right here. I can trash it. There, see the trash can there. I can mark it as read. Well, okay, but I really want to get rid of it. I can snooze it, like I want to look at that later. No, I'm not a snooze guy. Either I deal with it now or I plan to deal with it later, but I'm not going to just snooze it and have it come around. Or I can archive it. Archives it, puts the message into all mail. I'll explain that for you in 1 minute. Or like I said, I can trash it. Now, here's one thing you can do. You can go into these messages, and where did that one go that said there it is, Senior Perks? If I click on it, okay, now I can move to the very similar menu of icons up here, this list of icons that will also give me all those things I can do, plus a few more things. I can delete it. So anything that's checked will be deleted. I can create a label with it. I can move it to a folder with that I want it to go into. In this case, I want to get rid of that thing. So I'm going to go over here to this very nifty thing. Let's go back and click on it again. There's a little stop sign, okay, that says, and for some reason it's didn't like that, did it? It was clicking. So that was something weird about that email. I don't know what it was. But it decided that it didn't want to mess with what I was trying to do with it. Let's go over to my promotion account, see if I can find one I don't want. Okay, let's click on Staples. If, for example, I keep getting spam from Staples and I don't want to get it, I can click on this little stop sign with an exclamation point in it. And well, okay, I just dealt with it, which is I reported it as spam and which I probably shouldn't have done. So let's go into my spam folder and find that one that I just put there. I'm going to mark it, and it is now. Well, that one is misbehaving. We won't deal with that one. But let me click on this one up here, the New York Times, and this little thing right here, this little message. If you click on the stop sign, it says report spam and unsubscribe. So if you're getting emails that you want to that are clearly spam, you want to get rid of them, you have two options down here. The big blue button is reported as spam. And what that means is it does kind of two things. First of all, it tells Gmail from here on out that's spam. Will go straight into your spam folder. So, and it will maybe also give Gmail if they get enough, I suppose, if they get enough of these, they might go to the company and say, from that, those are always spam coming to all of our customers. We're getting rid of them. But report as spam, generally will put it in my spam folder when it comes. You can also do report and unsubscribe. They'll attempt to unsubscribe for you. No guarantee. And they tell you that right here. It says, anyway, they'll attempt to report it as spam. They may not be able to unsubscribe it for you. So what I would do instead is if you get something and you don't want to subscribe to it anymore, you click on the unsubscribe message in the bottom of the, in this unsubscribe hot link in the bottom of the message where it says unsubscribe. And that's where you can unsubscribe from that. So that's the best way to do it. No guarantee that any company you say you want to unsubscribe from will unsubscribe you, but it's your best shot. If you're really serious about cleaning up your email and you haven't got that much that it's going to drive you crazy, you can also, you know what I do? I write those down. Once a week, I go in and I say, I told the New York Times I didn't want them anymore. They're still sending it to me. From that point, it goes in the spam folder, and I can go and empty my spam folder. Anybody want to know where your spam folder is if it's not in your list here? For the longest time, I couldn't find my spam folder. And then I found out that I just had to go in and adjust my settings. So I went into all settings, CL settings, and labels. Spam is one of the basic folders that Gmail sets up for you. And this is what they are. So I'm under labels. So I've gone into all settings. Then I went to the menu that says labels and I clicked on it. And these are all the different types of system labels that you can set up. That are set up for you, and you decide whether you want to show them or hide them. So you can, if they're in black, it means that's what you're doing. So I haven't got a system folder that says starred because I've got hide set up. I don't want to see them. I don't use that. It's a great thing to use. I just don't use it. And down here, I found out that I didn't have my spam folder showing. So if I want to hide it, I click on hide. Now the hide will be bold, but I have show in bold black. That means it is showing my spam folder. It's also showing my trash folder. That's another folder I was looking for. It was right here in the settings. All you had to go do is set up your settings. And now you can see in the left, your trash folder and your spam folder. Now here's a secret about folders. I'm going to go back over to the inbox. Here's a secret about Gmail. All Gmail is really either in all mail or spam or trash. Your inbox is just a subset of all mail. Okay. Your inbox just means that's stuff that's been newly delivered for you to deal with, and it stays in your inbox until you leave it, but you can then move it. It isn't all mail. So again, inbox is a subset of all mail. And if you don't want it to be in your inbox, you have several choices. You can delete it, put it in trash. You can mark it as spam, or you can put it in a system folder over here, or you can do what's called archive it. So let's say this one I got here from New York Times. Okay, right there. If I go down and click it, highlight it, and I hit the very first thing over here on the left says archive, it'll now put it into just all mail. So it's kind of like in that general storage out there, not my inbox anymore. And if you're not sure what you want to do with something and you don't want it in your inbox and can't make up your mind, you can put it into all mail. It won't be in your inbox anymore. So that's that little checkbox. If you want to check everything that's in whatever your limit, mine is set up to 50 messages. You can change how many messages will appear at a time in your on your each scroll through. If you click on that right there, that top left checkbox, now everything that is in view, okay, because it says up here, 1 of 50 of 2,000, 20,000 and 12. Isn't that embarrassing? I have 20,000 messages just in this part of my inbox. Now it's highlighted everything. Now you can do, now if you wanted to, you could do any of these actions up here with everything in there. You can put them in all mail. You could report them all as spam. You could trash them all. Handy way to clean up your inbox. I can show you this in the Gmail Useful Things to Know class, how clean up your inbox fast. You can highlight, you can search for something, filter it out, whatever, and then you can just click and delete them. It's one way to do it. I'm going to quickly uncheck that because I don't want to mess with that. I have sometimes by accident scrolled over and checked everything and then all of a sudden clicked over and trash it. Oh no. And then you can go in your trash folder and you can find that stuff that you trashed. Last thing I'm going to show you, we have a few more minutes. This is we'll deal with more with this in the Gmail Useful Things to Know class on Wednesday, is your folders and your labels. Let me just quickly say, it seems kind of crazy, but folders and labels are actually the same thing. Imagine it this way. Think of it physically. Let's say you've got a file drawer and you've got 10 file folders in there and each one has a label on it. Okay. Like, you know, your utilities and your bills to pay, or however you set it up, your file drawer. And then you just put things in there. So you can grab messages like the New York Times right here. I can just grab this and I can move it over here to the one that says Amazon KDP. That's just moving it. I can grab, that's the fastest way to file something away, is to grab it. However, if I click on it, I can also go up here. We'll go over this in the class Wednesday, and I can move it. And now it gives me the choices of all the places that I want to move it to. I can also label it. If you label it, it doesn't move it. Okay. It stays in your inbox until you move it. So that's the only difference between labels and folders. If you move it, it's moved and it's labeled. If you label it, it's labeled but not moved. So it stays in your inbox. Okay. So anyway, those are the things you can do with labels. Again, we'll go over that more Wednesday. It's worth spending time messing with. You can see I've got lots of labels set up here because I do like to save folders. And in fact, see, here's one I've got to Sunday school. So I had a Sunday school class. Gloria Diener sent me some information right here. So I'm just going to highlight it, but I don't have to highlight it. I'm going to grab Gloria's message. I'm going to move into Sunday. Oops, you didn't grab. There you go. Move that in there. Now that's gone. I've got some information from my bank account telling me some stuff happened. I can just click on that all, and I can just delete those two messages at once like that. Capital One has been telling me stuff. I can click on that and it'll disappear. So there's lots of things you can do with this little checkbox. You can delete messages very quickly. And come back Wednesday, I'll show you more about labels and folders, but they're a way that's handy for storing things if you don't like to have tons of stuff in your inbox. Believe me, despite the fact that I have 20,000 messages in my inbox, I don't like having that many messages. In my old job, where I had a Microsoft Office account, I kept an empty inbox. I was that kind of person. I either dealt with it, filed it away, or got rid of it right away. And I got a lot of email messages. I'm a little bit sloppier with my home account because I know I can search for it. And I'll show you Wednesday in the class how to do searches up here. You can search for an email. You can search either for a word that's in any email or a person's email or it'll do both for you. So you can search for emails to find them. That's why I don't worry about having it organized right at this point. Let me pause here and ask, and I haven't checked the chat, and let me do a quick check of the chat and see if there are any more questions. Okay. Mumsy said, "Hi, Russ. I would like to enter the following kind regards with your name." And you've got, looks like a little icon. If that's a standard little icon that you can get, you can put that in there. If it's not, you'd have to create it, I guess, and somehow put it in there. But that's how you would do a signature. Let's see. Someone asked about the fonts on your iPad, and I'm going to apologize that I'm working on the desktop this morning, and I'll have to research a little bit how to do it on an iPad. Joan asked me, how did you change the background to rocks? I think I showed you that by going into the themes. So quick settings, it's down here under themes. It's how you change the background. Remember to save changes. It won't change it unless you do save changes. Last minute, any questions before we have to say goodbye?
Yes, I have
I have a question. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
I need to be able to open my Gmail account at the library, and each time I go, it will not open. It's supposed to send a code to my phone and it won't do it. So what do I need to change something in settings?
Let me just ask quick, you don't have your iPhone with you
I
at the
have
library?
myself. Yes, I do. Yes,
And you're not getting the code.
right.
Let's do a quick check on that. I think if you were to go in here to, let's see, I'm not
To
sure
all
if it's in
settings.
advanced. There is a security setting on here. The problem is, I'm not sure if that's in your Gmail or if it's in your Google account itself. Accounts, let's see. That's a good one. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one. I do know that Google, like any other major provider, really is big on security. Sometimes it seems like they're almost overdoing security. Personally, I just would rather them overdo security than underdo security. So I don't know the answer to that one, but I'll look for that answer. And if you come back to the class on Wednesday, I'll see if I have your answer for you.
Okay, thank you.
There was one more question.
Yes. Is it good to have more than one Gmail account if you're just using it for your own personal use?
Probably not.
Because I have a couple Gmail accounts and I want to delete them and I don't know how to delete them.
There is a way. So each Gmail account is a separate Google account, actually. And there is a way that you can get rid of a Google. You would go into your Google account itself and get rid of the account. You wouldn't do it through Gmail.
Okay, so go.
And I'm a little beyond time this morning to be able to show you how to do that, but there is a way you would have to go into your Google account. So right here, you'll see up in the top right, that is, see where it says manage your Google account. I clicked on the icon of my picture, manage your Google account. You would go into there and then that would bring up all your account settings, not your Gmail, but your whole Google account. And there is a way to go in there to delete that account.
Okay, thank you.
One other thing you might want to do, Rochelle, might be a little simpler is and I can't show you how to do that today. You could have all the email addresses from that other account forwarded to the one account you want to use. And that way you would keep two accounts if you ever wanted it for the future, but if you don't, get rid of it.
Okay, and I was listening to Becky, and here in Joliet, the building of the library, the way it's set up, you can't get the Wi-Fi. So when I went in there one time to pull up my account, I couldn't get it because by me using my phone in the public library, the Wi-Fi didn't work. You know, I couldn't get the signal because of the building.
Okay. Yeah, that might be happening. Thank you.
Well, let me stop the share here and so I can see everybody. You were a great class. I enjoy having you all. Please come back to another one of my classes. June's asking, can you get rid of unwanted emails forever? Yes, you can. You can have them deleted or report them as spam. Bring more questions to Wednesday's class. We'll look at some more settings that you can, including that vacation. I'll show you how you can set the delay on the sending of your email. So you can delay the sending by 5, 10, 20, 30 seconds. So if you're like me, I do this all the time. I forget to send an attachment and then I remember it about as soon as I click send. Well, Gmail has a setting that you can delay the sending by that long, and you can quick, don't send, you can click on that and it'll pull the message back up for you to remember to attach your folder or whatever the reason was. So lots more we can deal with, we can learn in Wednesday's class. You were great. You will get an email at the end with some notes. And we're about out of time for me to show you anything else. But
Wednesday?
That is Wednesday at 10:30.
What time is Wednesday?
10:30.
Okay. Thank you.
And Gmail useful things to know is what it's called. There might be another one called Gmail Basics. That's the same class as this, so that won't give you anything more. And I appreciate feedback. So when you get your email says feedback, tell me how to make the class better, how to do a better job as an instructor. I really appreciate that. Or suggest classes that we're not doing. we love for suggestions for classes. I have other classes that I do, so you can check on me as an instructor, see what else I'm doing this week. If you think, hey, I like what Russ did on this, let me see what he's doing on that. Come and join one of the other classes. Everybody have a great Monday. And if you're going to be in the Google Docs class at 12:30, I'll see you in about half an hour. So long.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.